Gentlemen, distinguished ladies, back again. Talk a little bit just quickly about why I would, if you are, I would stop using any grading group submitter until at least April 12th, when the ruling in a California court gets shaken out about, who these cards truly belong to. If kind of a bad situation happens, like what happened with Marx Cards, and one of these group submitters has to file for bankruptcy. Back up for a second. Who is Marx Cards? Marx Cards was the Southern California hobby shop who was essentially running like a Ponzi scheme with PSA, where they would take in collector cards and money. They would send the cards to PSA, but not pay PSA yet. And then they racked up over $1 million in debt with PSA. PSA came knocking for the money, and Marx Cards couldn't pay. So Marx Cards filed for bankruptcy. And in the process of this bankruptcy filing, California court has said, oh, PSA, you can't send these cards to customers. So PSA is, saying, oh, no, wait, no, yeah, we can, because these cards don't belong to Marx Cards. They were just kind of the custodian, the group submitter, and so forth. But a California court is going to have to hear that argument on April 12th. And we as card experts and so forth, we might sit here and say, oh, well, this is obvious. And, Marx Cards doesn't own these cards, and they clearly belong to these people who submitted them to Marx via PSA or whatever, however that chain of custody works. But we don't really know what's going to happen in a California court and how that ruling is going to shake down. So if you are a group submitter or you use group submitters, this is a big kind of ruling that's going to happen. Because what if the court says, well, let's just hold on to these cards until the bankruptcy filing kind of all gets shaken out? That could take months, if not years. And the PSA is going to have to hold on to these cards. And I even noticed in the fine print that PSA said they're working with Marx Cards to get the documentation for the court. Marx Cards record keeping was Instagram DMs. So I'd love to sit into this courtroom on April 12th, because a judge who probably is not going to know anything about sports cards, anything about grading and group submitters and third parties and this and this and this, it might be a little tricky explaining this, who these cards actually belong to and actually proving this. So it's something to kind of keep an eye out for. I would stop using group submitters until this gets shaken out. Again, people that pumped Marx Cards aren't going to do a video and tell you about this. Did Card Collector 2 come on and tell you about this? No. Did Rolling with FD come on and tell you about this? No. So I just wanted to come on real quick and tell you about this. If you are using group submitters, and hey, some people have to use group submitters because, maybe you live internationally, or maybe there's just such a cost savings that you have to use it. I get it. But you may want to just pump the brakes on it, because we don't know how the court ruling is going to shake out. And then we also don't know how PSA is going to have to react to this, because they're having to spend all this money in legal fees and da-da-da-da-da-da. And they may totally eliminate group submitters because of this. So I'd be definitely worried about this if that's a part of your business. Yeah, I'd be totally worried about this. And you can imagine that whatever PSA does, SGC and BGS will certainly look closely at it, especially if it's tied up in court, and especially if you have such a high-profile thing like this Marx Cards. I'll drop a couple links in the description with a little bit more information on this. And anyways, hopefully all this gets sorted out. Hopefully these cards get returned to people. But we won't know until at least April 12th. And maybe we'll be back then to talk about it at that point. See you later.